Shalom, shalom. Let's drink this chai latte and talk about the end of the world. Today we're discussing the third rider of the apocalypse. Now, this rider rides on a black horse, just a dark black horse, and the rider has a set of scales in their hands. There are two different commonly accepted interpretations of this specific horse. My brain obviously pictures an image of Black Beauty with that Katy Perry song just playing on repeat in the background. Now, some people believe that this black horse represents like doom and gloom, and that the scales represent justice coming in after the conquest and war and everything from the previous riders. But the more commonly held belief is that the black horse represents famine, because during a time of famine, the grain was weighed a very specific way, and the price of grain would increase. And these scales that the rider is carrying are the type of scales that would have been used at the time that Revelation was written. Now, it also says in these verses that the price of things like olives and wine will not increase, only the price of grain. And a lot of people interpret this to mean that things that are lavish, things that are luxuries, things that like the rich would have, are not going to be affected. However, the bare necessities, like the bread that you need to survive on, would be harder and harder to obtain. And the way that the pricing would work out, as described in those verses, 1 day's worth of work would afford you just enough grain or just enough bread for that one specific day. So literally every day you would be working to survive. So imagine what a lot of the world is going through right now with scarcity of food, or just in America, the price of food is just skyrocketing to the point that it is harder and harder for people to even just get basic groceries. Like, imagine that, but like multiplied. It's interesting how this horse has nothing to do with like war or conquest or like the slayings that happened with the earlier horses, but the idea of not being able to get your family food, to not be able to like eat yourself, to not be able to like afford what you need for sustenance on a daily basis, just living day to day, I think is in ways just as scary as the previous horses, especially if you have a family and you don't know how you're going to feed them. If you're interested in this topic, make sure that you give me a follow so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you have missed some, go back and check this playlist.